Hi, this is Laura from Laura Marie Photography, and I just wanted to thank you for purchasing this 5x7 customizable calendar. Um, 100% of the money that I am making on this will be going to two of my friends who are both fighting cancer right now. So anything that I receive until the end of this year in 2013 will be split evenly between my two friends. So thank you so much for helping make their lives a little bit easier. If you've never used a template before, I just wanted to show you it's really quite easy. Um, all of the PSD files that you received have a clipping mask as well as right above that a thing that says place image here, and you'll see that it's clipped to this. And so what a clipping mask basically does is whatever is placed above it when there's this little arrow pointing down to it will be confined to that space. So in this case, it's going to be confined to this gray space here. So let me show you how it works. So there's several ways that you can do it. One is just to take an image that you've already opened up into Photoshop, and you can select all, which is select and then all, or you can do Control A with a Windows or Command A if you're a Mac, and then you can go to Edit and go down to Copy, or Control C on Windows or Command C on a Mac, and then go to the image, the template that you want to be using. So I want to be using this one here, and make sure that you've clicked on Place Image here, and then I'm just going to go to Edit and Paste, or Control V on a Mac, or I'm sorry, Control V on Windows and Command V on a Mac. And it's clipped on there, but it's too big. So to take care of that, I'm going to go to Edit and go to Free Transform. You could do that Control T or Command T, and then holding down Shift and holding down in the corner, I'm just going to click and drag it down to get it the size that I want. And then once I'm happy with my how I have it, I can just hit Enter. So that's one way that you can do Edit. Another way that you can do it still within Photoshop is to go to the image that you want. I'm going to just click and drag it down so that it's not, I usually have all of my tabs consolidated at the top, but I want to be able to see both. And I'm going to use my Move tool. I'm going to click and drag it in. And when I click and drag it in, it brings it in to my clipping mask, because I also made sure that I was clicked on this, and actually it ended up making it as a separate layer but still clipped, and that's fine. So I can just do Control T to transform it and then make it the size that I need and then hit Enter. Um, if for some reason when you bring it in it is not it's not a clipping mask, so if it comes in and it's not being confined to it, all you need to do is bring your cursor over between these two layers, the clipping mask, and then your image should be right above that. Alt click or Option click if you're a Mac, and then just click, and then it will then be confined. So, or let's say if you bring it in onto like the wrong layer, or you bring it into the wrong place, just click and drag it up right above the clipping mask, and then I'll click and it'll go in. Okay, so that is another way to do it. And then my way that I actually prefer to use, because it brings in images as a smart object, is to click and drag your image in. And I forgot to click on Place Image here first. So it's probably not going to come in clipped to this frame, but that's no big deal. I can fix that in a second. But what I like about it is, one, it brings it in and it always confines it to the sides, so it'll come in and not be this gigantic file regardless of the size of it. So that's a nice feature. The other thing is, because it is a smart object, I can transform it larger, and then if I change my mind later, I can transform it smaller, and it's not going to degrade the quality of my image. So that's a real big plus for using a smart object when you are in the middle of kind of working on templates, and you may make some changes, and you may make something bigger or smaller. Every single time you do that, you're going to change the quality of the image if you're not using a smart object. Okay, so it's not clipped, so I'm just going to Alt click or Command click, and then since I want his shoes to be a part of it, I'm just going to Control T or Command T if you're a Mac, hold down the Shift button and get it the size that I want. And I like that one. And then you're good to go. So another thing about these templates is I've made them customizable so that there's a couple, like for this one I added, if you prefer to have stripes in it, you could turn that on or off. If you wanted a completely different background, you could just come in, add a new layer, and let's say you just really wanted to have blue, you could just come in here and add blue to the background. So the the cover image has some of those things where you can make that type of change. The other ones, um, looks like there's something funky on this one. Maybe not. That's weird. So the other ones have, it's just doing something weird when it's a certain size, have little design elements that you can turn on or off. So you can turn on or off the dots for this one. And be aware that when you add the image to this one, I wanted it to go all the way to the very edges. So part of the image is going to be within what looks like it's supposed to be the frame. So that was done on purpose. So like let's say I pull this one in, except I'm pulling it into the wrong again, I keep on forgetting to click on place image here. It's not a big deal, but it'll be easier for you, one less step for you if you do that first. So I need to click it down and I need to drag it down to right below the clipping mask. So I'm going to do that, and it ended up going in as a clipping mask. So you can see all the way to the corners is that. If you just hated that, you could add a mask and take a black brush and just carefully go around the edges there. And you can see as I do that, the gray part comes back. So if you wanted to do that, I'm going to do it really quick, but you could do something like that. Um, and then, yeah, so February you can turn off the hearts. March you can turn off the clovers. April you can turn, so several things in April. You can turn off the little leaves in the corner, and then this one has either you can have blue or you can have pink. May you can turn off the flowers, you can turn off the frame. June you can turn off that chevron design, you can also turn off the frame outline. Okay, so all of them have a little something something that you can do to like turn things off and on. So you can turn off the frame outline, turn off the flags. So, and then let's say, one other thing, let me just show you. So let's say in January, you just absolutely positively had to have two images, and so you didn't want to use this clipping mask. You could go ahead and, I'm just going to turn them off. You could go ahead and take one from another one. So I think December has two. So December, I've got two frames. So you could go in there and choose everything that you want, which would be the both the clipping mask as well as where it says place image here. And then you could right click on that, duplicate your layer, and then bring it into the template that you want to use. So now I'm bringing it to January, and so now it's there. Ah, whoopsies. But I don't have the frames. The I missed getting the frames. So the frames needs to come in too. So duplicate that and bring it over into January. And I brought it above it. I just need to click and drag it below it. And so now you can, now have this instead and add your images as well. If you don't want the frame background, you just want the image, the clipping mask, you can do it that way as well. So I think that is all that I can tell you about it. I really hope that you find these enjoyable. I love them. I just think they're super cute. I make them for myself. I've also made it for my parents, and it's nice if you're doing it for parents because you don't necessarily have to make a whole 12 all at once, or the same thing for you. You don't have to make them all at once. You could just make January and then take a picture of your kids that month and make it and just go off and print it, somewhere locally. And then you've got, you could just kind of have updated photos throughout the year that you're giving to family or even for yourself. So that's all she wrote. Thank you again so much for purchasing these.